Welcome to the CTE Educator Collaboration Forums. My name is Jeremy Leffelman, Executive Director of the Minnesota State Advanced Manufacturing Center of Excellence. I'm very happy you could join us for this sector-specific session. During this forum, machine tool technology, quality assurance, medical device, and biomed instructors from all over the state and potentially the nation are getting together to talk. So the center today is hosting 5 separate CTE educator collaboration forums and has been working with other important organizations in the state, including Minnesota State Colleges and Universities, Minnesota State Centers of Excellence, the Minnesota Department of Education, Minnesota Technology and Engineering Educators Association, and multiple manufacturing associations to help navigate the educational challenges associated with the COVID-19 pandemic. The purpose of today's forum is to provide all Minnesota CTE educators, secondary and post-secondary, a common platform to come together and share information, ideas, best practices, resources, and collaborate on a grand scale. It is important to note, the Minnesota State Advanced Manufacturing Center of Excellence is not claiming to be experts in any of the topical areas today. We are the conveners of these forums. You as educators are the experts in the topics being covered. We will be here to assist, share links, and provide information of resources already established, as well as take notes and to follow up as necessary. So you'll notice on the screen, there's a set of rules and guidelines established. We want to ensure that everyone in the room adheres to these rules and that information being shared is relevant to the conversation. This will ensure a quality forum. I also wanted to note at this time that this session is being recorded so that it can be shared with those who cannot attend. So first of all, stay positive. We're going to get through this. There are a lot of unknowns right now. Things obviously have been changing very rapidly, and this is our best response at this moment in time. We've had a lot of good conversation already this morning, and I look forward to this session as well as the next 2 following. Refrain from discussing anything or referring to anything political or personal. It really does not have a place here. We're all about coming together and educating the next generation of manufacturing talent. Keep the conversation related to courses and curriculum or other topics such as mental health or Wi-Fi, anything that relates to online and distance learning. How are you being impacted? Share what you know and how you're dealing with it. Ask questions or propose what-if scenarios. No one on this call has all the answers, but I bet you some of them do. Some have at least one answer. So come up with solutions. Use the chat feature and voice your ideas. Respect others. There's no such thing as a bad idea, and everyone's situation is different. This really isn't a discussion about we versus them. This is about all instructors coming together to navigate the challenges associated with remote and online learning. There could be people from around the country joining this call. Earlier today, we had an individual from Florida join, Marilyn Barger, who runs the Flate Center. So there could be others on the call. This is really a state and regional and national effort to come together and share information and best practices. Your video will be disabled when you join. This is an effort to decrease the effective bandwidth and improve the connection for all. If you wish to speak and you're encouraged to speak, unmute yourself, and just note your audio is muted upon joining. Muting yourself when speaking or not speaking minimizes the background noise. The occasional dog bark, kids playing, yelling, whatever, it just helps everyone on the call. Be respectful of other attendees. Please don't dominate the conversation. It's very difficult to hear if more than one person at a time is speaking. These meetings will be recorded and put on Google Docs, and please submit the documents or web links directly to the Google Docs folder. I would encourage you to check the chat window often. Sue will be bringing forward questions and potential answers, resources, links, things like that to your attention. And I would check it frequently. Once again, stay positive. So at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Nick, who's going to provide some basic instruction for utilizing Zoom. Nick?
Good morning, folks. I'm the center's admin and technical support person. I just wanted to give a few brief introductory comments about using Zoom's chat, audio, and screen sharing features before we get underway. The document that I'm effectively reading from can also be found in our Google Drive link, which I believe just got posted. Yep, it's right there. So many of you are probably already familiar with Zoom, but to cover some of the basics, if you were to mouse or drag over the bottom area of your screen, you will see the Zoom meeting controls hotkey bar. You'll see there in the bottom left-hand corner the ability to mute or unmute yourself, as Jeremy mentioned. This is where you can also, by selecting the little upward pointing caret icon immediately to the right of the mute unmute button, you can manually select different speaker and or microphone devices. So long story short, if you are experiencing difficulty either hearing us, which I recognize wouldn't necessarily help you in the moment as I talk about this over a Zoom session, or if you are having difficulty being heard when you are unmuted, I would suggest checking that to make sure the appropriate device is selected. I'm also pasting a link right now into the chat box that is the direct Zoom support link that provides greater detail and also a helpful video that kind of walks you through troubleshooting audio and video issues. The meeting control bar will also let you toggle Zoom's chat features and the participant listing. If you don't see either of those things right away, first of all, clicking on the chat button in the hotkey menu will open a new interface pane that will allow you to type messages to the group. From here, you can either message all participants by selecting everyone in the drop-down menu, or you can either type in or manually select via the drop-down specific usernames if you wish to message anyone privately. Toggling the participants button, again on the hotkey menu, will also show or hide an equivalent interface pane. In addition to regular chatting, there are also reactionary emotes that are available and can be toggled. These will appear near your username when active. So for example, I have just clicked on more and I've toggled the little thumbs up guy, which will show up near my name in the participant listing. Otherwise, or finally rather, if you would like to share the contents of your screen with the group, say you have a notable website open that you'd like to show from your browser, or Word document, or some other useful resource that would be best seen by the group as a whole, feel free to click the share screen button in the bottom middle of the hotkey bar. So that should do it, but feel free to use the general chat feature if you have any other tech support questions or anything else we can help with. So otherwise, that's all from me. Thanks.
Thank you, Nick. If at any time you have a question related to Zoom, please refer to chat. You can certainly ask a question and we'll do our best to answer those questions. At this time, Sue Sellenmiller, Director of Manufacturing Education Programs for the Center, is going to provide some insight and instruction on the shared Google Documents page. She will be providing the link multiple times during the forum. Sue, it's all yours.
Thank you, Jeremy. And welcome to everyone. We're very excited to have this opportunity to bring people together. As part of providing resources, we wanted to make it easy for everyone to access both resources that we've already brought together and those that will happen as part of our discussions during this forum. So in the chat box, I've shared a couple of times already the link to our general Google Doc folder for all the forums today. So that's the first link there. And the reason I keep sharing those links is maybe you've discovered one downfall of Zoom is that anybody who joins the chat will not see previous comments in the chat. So if I notice new people have added in, I'll reshare the links to make sure everybody can see them. But if you click on that first folder link, it will bring you into this Google Drive. And we have a separate folder for each forum that we are hosting today. And then some additional documents. For example, the Zoom document Nick referenced is included in here. might be a good resource for instructors who are utilizing Zoom and want to help guide their students in how to utilize that tool. And then any participants can access any of these folders. It doesn't matter which session you attend. So there may be things that cross over for what areas you're responsible for or interested in. So if we go into our folder for machine tool, I'll just give you an overview of what's in here. First up, we have a sign-in document that you're free to add your name to, but it's not required. If you'd like to be included on our email list, if we send out any more information, you can share that, or maybe you have a specific question that didn't get answered. You could add your contact information and in the notes, share your question, and we will help to follow up on that. Other documents in the folder include some resources that we've come across so far that have been shared with us. There's some general links to different softwares, publishing items. There's some good ones that were just shared by Flate, as Jeremy mentioned earlier, links to online resources and support for online teaching. So feel free to download those. Also, if you have a document that you think would be useful to share, you can upload to this folder as well. And then the last document I want to highlight is this resource list. So we're considering this a live document. And so as we have our conversation, I'm going to add to this, but feel free to add to it on your own as well. Just scroll down to the bottom of the page and type in a web address or name of some product that you think would be helpful. And I will monitor the chat. If you post something there, I'll copy it in here as well. So feel free to come back later and download this document. We'll try to update as much as we can. I will highlight a few things that are already in here. At the top of the document, there's a section for mental health resources. And I feel like this is a really important thing that we're not spending a lot of time talking about. And so I've included some links here that may be useful for you or to work with your students on. So a couple good websites there. There's also a reminder that Minnesota State employees have access to an assistance program for free. And so the phone numbers are there if you'd like to access those. And then we have a section for curriculum resources, things like Quality Matters in trying to do best practice for an online course. There's some good references there. And then we highlight some of the resources that we have developed as a center. If you want to include as part of your online course some soft skills training, we have career success skills modules, hard for me to say. The link there allows you to request these modules, and they're ready-made lessons on different soft skills. They include PowerPoints, student workbook, videos, quizzes, and everything is manufacturing based. So all of the people talking work in manufacturing and all that stuff. So it's really nice that it's specific to our industry. Then there's also resources for career exploration. If you, particularly high school instructors, maybe you want to spend some time having students explore careers in manufacturing. There's some links there to great ready-made reference or resources. Career tool, there's a quiz they can take, which is kind of fun, questions, and then at the end it says, you know, these kinds of jobs would be a good fit for you, and then they can learn about those jobs. There's also the teacher guide for grades 6 through 12, ready-made lessons and videos. And then there is a YouTube channel, excuse me, talking too much today, I apologize. YouTube channel with all kinds of great videos of people talking about their jobs in manufacturing. And some new ones that were just highlighting women in manufacturing, which is really great to access. And then we have resource websites in one place. There's all kinds of great stuff going on. MTEA is constantly updating their resource page, and then all of our Center of Excellence is sharing their resources, so you can access all the links here. And then these last ones I've been adding to from the earlier sessions. And so there are some great things that might be common for some of you across the board. There's some great modules from FLATE, as we mentioned earlier. This is the link to their landing page for all those resources. There's some information about internet providers, getting service for your students. Some examples, if you're high school and you need to loan out computers, there's a form there that somebody shared. The link to Khan Academy for ready-made courses that might help support what you're doing. And then this one is exciting, the CTE Coalition. I just found this on break at our last, from our last session. And oops, apologize about that. I was going to show you, so here's that link to that page, CTE Coalition. And there are links to all these companies that are stepping up and helping to provide, either reduced or free curriculum content. So be sure and check those out. You'll probably recognize a lot of these. Be sure and go into them, like the NC3 also shares additional companies that are providing free or reduced access to ready-made curriculum. So lots of great stuff. And as I mentioned, I'll be adding to the list as we go on here and sharing the links in the chat so you can be sure to access all of this information as well. So if we don't have any questions, I will pass it back to Jeremy.
Thank you very much, Sue. So each call is going to be a little bit different. Our first call, there was hardly any time that went by where someone wasn't sharing a resource or things like that. I mean, all calls are going to be productive, but the last call, there was a lot of dead air time. I'm hoping that's not the case with this one, and it's certainly not a knock on anyone who was on the call. Feel free to bring up questions, comments. What you might be saying, hopefully you're seeing on the screen right now, is a list of potential topics that you may want to discuss today. As Sue mentioned, there's a lot of things that we've captured from other forums that have taken place, as well as our forums earlier this morning. How are we addressing labs? That might be a really good conversation starter for this group. Mental health resources, communication and staying in contact with your students. Delivering courses online. How do you load your content into a learning management system? There's a lot of things that we encourage you all to discuss. Once again, I just want to make clear that we are not going, line by line in this list. I'm going to leave it up on the screen. So please refer to it as things come up, or if things are stalled, and refer to your chat window. With that, I'd like to welcome you to this forum. Once again, this is the Machine Tool and Quality Forum. So right now the time is yours, and we're going to wrap up around 12:30. So we have about 40 minutes or so. And just to be clear, if there's great conversation going on around 12:30, we're not going to say, okay, everyone shut down. We're going to let that conversation continue. Please check the chat window frequently and let us know if you have any questions. Thank you.
Hi guys, this is Tammy Jablonski from Ridgewater College again. We are just going to be having an all faculty meeting coming up here in about a half an hour, so I won't be on here very long, but I just wanted to make mention that it sounds like, and I'm not 100% sure, but it sounds like there may be possibilities for setting up using social distancing protocols and stuff, though opportunities to bring in a limited number of students for technical programs that have an obvious need for a hands-on component or a face-to-face component that cannot be produced online. Specifically, I'm thinking of things like machine tool and welding. Just wondering if anybody's heard anything on that from their schools.
Hi, Garrett Burns, St. Paul College, machining. So far, we have been in a wait and see mode as to whether or not we'll be able to have labs. Our college is currently only open from 10 a.m. till 3 p.m. So hopefully we get some clarification by the end of the week. But right now, I'm planning for us to not have any gatherings or any shop time.
I can tagged in with what Garrett said there. This is Drew Hamilton with St. Paul College. Garrett does a lot and does a great job with our workforce training department for customized and continuing education. Right now, yeah, we're wait and see. We've been given the opportunity to, I'm sure you all know, still run those in-person trainings with 10 or fewer people. Just not currently. So I guess, yeah, wait and see. We're hoping to get back to that sooner than later.
Hi, this is Jay Ports. I'm working at Minneapolis Community and Technical College. Right now, we got communication this morning that with the new stay-at-home order that the colleges are exempt from this. Right now, the administration at our college is looking at I teach machine tool, letting us come in, following the restrictions, and finish these classes. Having said this can change tomorrow. Right now, the plan is to let machine tool in our lab classes move forward and get the students through this semester. Again, this may change.
Hello, this is Ed Doherty from Sarasota, Florida. Also a friend of Dr. Marilyn Barger. We work with the Flake Group also down here in Florida. We're a county school, a technical school, so we fall under the like K-12 plus post-secondary. And I feel that they're going to keep everything shut down from that point of view, so we won't have any lab time. That's what I foresee. We have an intermingled class of adults and juniors and seniors in our technical schools.
I would share there's a comment from Ray, Minnesota West, in the chat. He says, at this point, I've been directed that we will have modified lab time. However, as we are all aware, this is an extremely fluid situation. Tentatively have students divided into 2 groups and plan on having no more than 4 students in lab at any one time.
Yeah, the problem we have here at St. Paul College is we have over 120 machining students and 3 separate labs. So for us, if we go to that 4 route, and we're only open 4 days a week, it's going to be tough to get everybody in and get some lab time. You know, they might just get an hour or 2. So, but kind of like what Ray said, it's a fluid situation, and hopefully we have some more clarity on the issue by the end of the week or early next week.
For those of you who mentioned that you're really planning to not have lab anymore, how are you managing not having the technical aspect of your course? If you would share that. And actually, that's just what Tim posted in the chat too, as secondary instructors will have no access to labs. So if there are ideas about how you're handling that technical aspect, that would be great.
So for, again, this is Tammy Jablonski. So far what I'm doing, I have both second semester and fourth semester machine tool technology students in my programs. So we move into CNC machining in their second semester, and we do manual programming, just like learning code and writing very basic programs, and they learn how to set up the machines. Very fortunately, we moved into the hands-on portion of it and got them on the machines like the second week of the semester. So they had a full half a semester on the machines already, and then with manual programming. And so my intention is to take those second semester students, and I've given them all links to the MasterCam Home Learning Edition. And we're going to start going over the programs that they learned how to write manual programs for, and we're going to draw them up in MasterCam and make programs. And then for my graduating students, they've had 1 3/4 years with me hands-on on the machines, and all they really had left to do on the machines was their final project. So they are going to finish up with creating all of their designs for their final project in SolidWorks, and then they're going to write MasterCam programs. We're going to troubleshoot their programs, but they just won't physically run the parts, is our plan as of right now.
Yeah, I want to kind of echo what Tammy just said. That's kind of what I'm planning on doing with my second semester students. They've been on the machines now for 8 weeks. They've got a good grasp of the hands-on, and we're just working on our coding, and then our MasterCam, and then Shop Calc, GD&T, and Metrology. I've moved to those for the last 6 weeks online. Biggest problem will be for MasterCam and SolidWorks is students' access to a computer. I've been told that we will have some sort of a computer lab possibly set up here at the college, so students that don't have access to a computer can come in and use one.
This is Ed Doherty. We're going over that CAD CAM route also. We experimented with Autodesk Fusion last year, and we also used to teach MasterCam, so we're doing both.
And there is a question in the chat. Does anyone have a hand drafting packet that I could use with students that don't have internet? Looking at grades 7 through 12. Well, we can make a note of that question and do some work to see if we can help find that for you. I'm going to share my email address. So Becker, if you want to send me an email, then I know you're looking for the information on this. And then we'll see what we can find out. And Tim shared the suggestion to ask the question on the MTEA listserv or check out their Facebook page. Secondary teachers are asking similar questions there. That's a great idea. Thanks, Tim.
Does anyone have any information surrounding students that don't have Wi-Fi access? How are you handling that, or how are students handling that? I know there's been some resources posted in earlier forums we've hosted, but perhaps there's some innovative ideas or things that you're doing.
And just so you know, I did copy those reference from earlier sessions into the resource document for this session as well. So there's a link to the FCC, which has a program called Keep Americans Connected, and you can look up the list of internet providers who are keeping internet access available to their customers. So if you have students, you can look up the provider in your area and find out if they are still doing that. May also be a way to put some pressure on if they aren't. There's also a link for a Lifeline support page for applying for low-cost internet and our phone plans, are just a couple examples that are in the list of resources. We have another post from Raymond. Our students have been into the G and M coding heavily, may have to eliminate typical end of semester projects. G, D, and T, unfortunately, will be handled via Zoom with hopefully some exposure during lab time for reinforcement of interpretation and application. And I see Tim shared the MTEA Facebook page. So that would be a good resource for secondary teachers to connect and post questions or find answers. I will add that to.
So for those middle school and high school instructors on the call, what types of challenges are you experiencing? Do you have any specific questions? Everyone's on this call, to help each other out, share resources and things like that. Once again, I encourage people to sign in on the sign-in sheet just so we can all stay connected.
We had to submit a plan with our county and my program director on what our path was going to be. And my only concern was, especially with the high school students, was going to be lack of participation. How do we monitor that? It's hard enough in the classroom to go around and make sure everybody's staying on point and stuff, but when they're remote, that's going to be a little more difficult.
That's a good point, Ed. I would add to that I attended some of the sessions yesterday that were held by Minnesota State colleges and universities. And they actually had a student panel for one of the sessions. And there were, I believe, 5 or 6 students from both 4-year institutions and 2-year institutions. And it was quite powerful to hear their story. And so, as faculty, the focus is on getting the education to them, but they're going to be in some tough situations where, they really want to do it, but they're taking care of kids or they're trying to figure out how they're going to pay for their rent, lost their jobs. And so there is that whole other dynamic that is going to add some challenges to the participation factor for sure.
We were contacted by a local workforce group that works with us that funds internships. And this was about the time of year that I would be putting the adults in the field. And they contacted me and said that they had a need for temporary workers in the same industry because a lot of people have to stay home with their kids. And I said, this would be a good opportunity to get them some on-the-job training. So that was a good opportunity.
Other thoughts or questions or anything related to the topics up on the screen?
All right. A couple people mentioned that they would be limiting the students to 4 students in their lab areas at a time. Is there any particular reason with the number of 4 being 4? And where did this come from?
I don't recall who specifically made that comment, but I know the direction is 10 or less. That could vary by, college or whatever.
Jeremy, sorry to interrupt, but
Yes.
Ray had commented that and he just posted a follow-up that he only has 7 students total, so he split them up so there'd be less exposure. And I believe the directive had been at less than 10 or less than 10. So it looks like Ray was just working with the number of students that he had. So I don't believe 4 is the requirement.
Thank you.
Ray said exactly. Thanks, Ray. Ed has posted we are using Autodesk Fusion 360. Students had previously installed in home computers and have accounts. We are on year 2 Fusion. Fusion has the ability to share files easily through their cloud. I can see in my system. Then I can grade and do an Autodesk screencast video and send it back to them. So Autodesk is available in the cloud.
Yes, it's all cloud-based. You just have to install the software, but all the storage files are in the cloud. This actually makes it pretty good because the SolidWorks training, which is pretty prevalent in our school system, everybody's got to walk around with USBs to store all their files, where we don't have to do that anymore. And they can work on the same project home or whatever computer they're working on. So it's a pretty powerful product. At first, I was a big Mastercam user and I wasn't willing to go in that direction, but I was interested in how proficient the product was, and it's turned out to be a really good product for teaching. Pretty easy to use. There's a lot of free curriculum out there on that. And the sharing files was a big plus. I could just they could just send me a link that shares their file to me. I open it up in my software and see exactly what they have. And then it has a screencast capability. That's why I had to buy this nice microphone so I could talk back to them. And I send back the video, which they store also in their cloud. So I'm trying to do this with Mastercam. I figure I have to I'm going to make a OneDrive share file so they'll drop their files to me, and I'll attempt to do the same. I've done a cast using PowerPoint. But I think what I have to do is really turn that into a YouTube video of some sort. But I have used the screencast to do other than Autodesk products. So, I've used it for other training.
That's good to know. Tim Barrett from MDE commented in the chat noting we are talking about keeping instruction flexible. With all this being new, we are advising that folks not plan out too far and be prepared for a lot of adjustment. At the secondary level, we can expect that students will have all day access to a computer and maybe sharing with others in their homes.
There's been a pretty good outpouring of educational vendor support, like a group called the Edge Factor has videos. It's like taking shop tour video field trips or career exploration. I'm going to start assigning those. I think the Haas CNC people have an online CNC certification program. It's all online. So I've assigned that. That's an assignment I've given out. Our virtual online training system has a lot of video content in there. And plus I have my own YouTube channel, and it's really mostly a collection of playlists of different training videos. So it's like doing everything short of actually making doing the lab projects. In my first year of teaching, we actually had no equipment for 5 months. I had 18 students and I had to figure out a way to teach without equipment. So I figured this is like the same scenario. So we front loaded all the technical training. We did a lot of field trips. And then when we finally got back in the classroom, we just did all lab work.
Thanks, Ed. You mentioned, and Jamie just posted the link to Edge Factor that you mentioned. And then you said you have a virtual online training system. Is that the FLATE system you're talking about?
No, FLATE has a lot of good contact. We use one called Immerse to Learn. So we subscribe to that. And they have all built-in content.
Okay.
I actually, yeah.
So that's a company, Immerse to Learn?
Yes. Yeah. But I've been last couple of years, I've been trying to become more virtual teaching. I've been starting with Google Classroom and mostly to give out assignments, but not actually as training. And I'm going to try to learn how to do that with like some testing and communicating that way. But usually I would post a PowerPoint of what the week's assignments are, so that everybody was knowledgeable of what they needed to do that week.
Thanks, Ed. And then Luke Becker has some things to follow up with.
Been working with Ed for a long time on different projects with the H-Tech group. But I also was able to shoot one of the Edge Factor videos, and not everything is available on there. So make sure that you double check that your students can open up some of that stuff. Phenomenal resources for getting kids to be able to see machines in action in a school like mine where I don't have 5-axis machines. It's a great resource of just showing, here's every step of the manufacturing process from design to testing. The thing that I love Autodesk and Fusion 360, but we are a one-to-one school with Chromebooks, and so it doesn't like to work on there very well. We use a whole lot of Tinkercad stuff. There's 4 teachers up here who've been working, myself, Mark Westlake, the instructor at Staples Motley. We have a pretty decent start portfolio for how to do middle school, more entry-level stuff that I will share once I finish my project.
I just saw a note how many job market opportunities are out there. I just, with that Career Edge workforce development group, I actually just emailed all our companies that we usually work with. And I'm surprisingly finding that pretty much it's business as usual right now, and most of them are still needing people. Some are taking a wait and hold on that, even though they need people that they're not going to hire at the moment, but they haven't let go of anybody in manufacturing, and they're just still busy. They still have contracts, or they're on the needs list. One of those two. We have some automation companies down here that make a lot of stuff for the medical industry, so they're very busy. So I'm finding out that things are still good in the manufacturing sector.
Maybe Jeremy, you could add a little bit to that as far as your communications with Steve and MPMA, what they're doing.
Yes, I'll look for the link after I'm done talking here. But so the Minnesota Precision Manufacturing Association is working with Tri-State, Central Minnesota, AMFA, our center, and some other groups to host their own manufacturing specific webinars, like, you know, how do you promote social distancing within the workplace, you know, webinars related to being identified as a essential or a critical manufacturer. There's webinars that they're hosting. I believe one was earlier today at 10:30. They have 2 or 3 upcoming ones. I think it's like a 5 or 6 part series they are doing. And that's certainly open to manufacturers where they can get together and kind of discuss those types of things. So I will look for the link on that and then post it in the chat area.
Great, and we've had some sharing of additional links to things that have been discussed already for potential resources in the chat area, and then I've also added them to the resource document. So if you need to track those down, we have them there.
I just posted the MPMA information. You know, this is, like I said, it's an effort by multiple manufacturing associations in the state, supported by this center as a way for manufacturers to come together. Sue, would you be able to just talk a little bit about some of the resources that are free to use that the center has developed over the years and where they might be located?
Sure, I'm gonna steal your screen. Oh, wrong one. So I highlighted these at the beginning of our session, but if you hadn't joined till later, this is in the resource document. So there's a link in the chat room, and I can share it again here in a second too. But this document is just kind of a live document that we're adding to throughout our discussion. And then there were some resources that we already had heard about and had included them at the beginning of the document. And so if you go to this section, Minnesota State Advanced Manufacturing Resources, you can get links to these ready-made resources. So the first up, Career Success Skills modules. These are ready-made lessons, includes PowerPoints, teacher guide, student workbook, quizzes, videos, and if you wanted to, you know, pick and choose, there's like 26 modules, and they cover soft skills that many employers are looking for. It's free to download or free to request and access. And the thing that I think's the coolest about them is that they're all specific to manufacturing. So any skill is talked about in a manufacturing setting, which is quite nice. So those are available. Then if anybody would like to include a little career exploration, maybe in the secondary level or middle school level, there are tools available for free that include a career tool, and the web link is there for that. It's highlighting careers in manufacturing. There's a fun 20-question quiz that students can take. Things like, if you were a superhero, what kind of hero would you be? And then at the end, based on their answers, there will be suggestions for careers that may be a good match for them, and then they can learn more about those careers. There are also videos associated with that as well. The next one is the Introduction to Manufacturing Minnesota Teacher Guide. I think it would apply in any state, just happens to this version is labeled Minnesota, but it's ready-made lessons for exploration, exploring careers in manufacturing. It's focused on grades 6 through 12. You can download a free copy of it. And again, there are videos connected with the lessons and a teacher guide along with the worksheets for the students. Also, you can check out the YouTube Dream It, Do It, MN YouTube channel. The link is there. All kinds of great videos of people talking about their careers in manufacturing, highlighting Minnesota manufacturing companies. There's also new ones with women talking about their careers in manufacturing. So a great way to pull in real live people talking about what it's like to work in manufacturing. And then the last resource our center has available is the badge pathway. So as part of the career exploration, if you wanted to add a fun element, kind of reinforcing the students doing the activities, they can earn badges for different career exploration activities as part of that work. And the link is there for an overall description, and then there's a video that explains it as well. And that, again, this is all in the resource document that I will share a link for.
Thank you, Sue. In addition to the Google Drive folder or the link that Sue's sharing, I want to draw your attention to mnmfg.org/COVID-19 response. You can see the link on your screen, hopefully. Obviously, you can't click that, but type that into your browser or just simply navigate to the www.mnmfg.org website. And on the upper right-hand side of the screen, a lot of information will be posted, and that will be kept updated as much as we can. Well, we have roughly 6 minutes left in this forum. I would invite any final discussion to take place. If there's a burning question you haven't asked, please paste it in chat or just speak up. You know, we're all in this together and trying to come up with creative solutions. So we've got about 5 minutes left on this forum. All right. Well, with that being said, it doesn't look like anyone has any more things to discuss. So feel free to jump off the call if you'd like. Once again, I wanted to remind everyone we do have another two sessions actually today coming up. At 1 o'clock, we'll be talking maintenance, fluid power, and electromechanical systems. Instructors will be coming together to have a conversation. That's from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock Central Time. And then again at 2:30 to 3:30, we'll be focused on welding, metalworking, brazing, and soldering. In addition, I wanted to remind you there's a link posted. The Minnesota State Engineering Center of Excellence is hosting a forum much like this for general CTE instructors if they're not specialized in any area, but just want to get some more information, potentially with a different group. You're certainly more than welcome to join those as well. Nick or Sue, could you post that link once again? For the 1 o'clock session, the link you utilized to access this Zoom forum will be the exact same. And we will, like I said at the beginning of the call, these calls are recorded, or these forums are recorded. So you will be able to share this as you would like, refer back to it, access it, visit our website. We're here for you. So anything you need, please let us know, and stay safe. And thank you for your attendance today. The information related to the Engineering Center Forum.
Oh, sure.
Good luck. Thank you. But of course, we don't want anyone on the call jumping over to theirs. But, you know, if you have time, I'd invite you to check out both of them.